Good afternoon, everybody. I'm your host, Crystal, and this is another edition of the 9 o'clock Meltdown. On speakerphone, I have Eric and Sky of the Minneapolis Band Sawyer's Dream. Hello.
Hello.
And Monique, the lead singer, is on her way. She is trapped by construction down in the cities.
Yep, that's what happens here. As soon as the snow melts, they start digging holes in the Yep, they want to make sure the highways are never properly used between the snow and the road construction.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. We were joking a little earlier that Sky, I believe it was you that said there are two seasons in Duluth, or in Minneapolis, Minnesota. What state are we in? We're in Minnesota.
Winter and road construction.
Yes.
Yep, that's the two.
Yes. Yeah, and I was saying that they do have Superior ripped up right now, and I don't know how long that's going to last, but it's a damper on things. You know, when you got to snake your way around and
try. As long as you can get to your favorite bar, you're fine.
Ooh, there you go. Touche, sir, touche. And now, right before I hit record here, we were also talking about that kind of in the wintertime, there's not a lot for bands to do. Whether that's, just getting people out or, heaven forbid, the snow keeps you from getting to your destination or whatever it is. But you brought up a very good point that it's rehearsal time and then songwriting time.
Yep, so, rehearsal, songwriting, recording. I mean, that's the great thing about the winter. You're kind of forced to work hard. I mean, you can't really get out. And it's a chancy thing, too. Say you book a show, and if the snow hits, that's it. It may be your band rehearsing that evening to a couple bartenders, and that's about it. Yeah. In Minnesota, it's like if you're not into the winter sports scene, you just kind of go inside and work on your music. That's kind of what... Everyone has a new record out in the spring and summer, it seems like, because they've been working all winter on something. So.
True, very true. Yes, there are a number of bands up here that have just released some new albums. Monster Mob comes to mind, and then Charlie Parr as well.
Right? New stuff coming out all over the place,
Yes, definitely. And now, how did you guys get together with Sawyer's Dream?
Well, I can kind of tell you the quick story, the quick version here, if you'd like.
Sure.
Eric and I, of course, we've been in different bands our whole life,
Okay.
Eric's was from Limited Warranty, of course. In the 80s, they won Star Search and that. And I was in various bands doing different roles. And I'm a luthier by trade, and he came over to my house one day, and I saw him a few times as a child. We both grew up in Bloomington, but I invited him to see my band one time, and the guitar player I had at the time was leaving, and he said he'd fill in for the gig, and he's been here ever since. Right. And then we've just kind of like worked new people in over time. We've had people come and go. Our drummer has stuck around for the last few years, and then our bass player was added, and then we kind of went through a bunch of different singers, but we finally found a great formula and people who have the time and the commitment to make it work. So it's just going great.
Good, wonderful to hear. Now, is this what you guys do constantly? I mean, are there side gigs involved? Are there other bands involved with Sawyer's Dream?
Nope, this is basically all we're doing right now. We're hitting it pretty hard. Yeah, we all have day jobs that pay the bills, and then we're just doing music as hard as we can, as much with the time we have,
Right. And I guess when you say as hard as you can, does that mean going in the studio and recording, writing new material?
Pretty much every day of the week is gobbled up. Like, I'll give you an idea.
Yeah.
Monday we record, and then Tuesday we rehearse, Wednesday we rehearse, Thursday we record, Friday we rehearse our gig, and Saturday we gig. That's pretty much our week to week. And then some shows in the summer we have in the daytime. Some are Friday and Saturday. It gets pretty busy in the summer. And like Sunday we mow the lawn and do laundry. We catch up.
Yeah, and do radio interviews.
Yep. Right. Yeah, here we are Sunday doing a radio interview.
Exactly. So not too long ago, you guys just played Duluth up here, which obviously we're over in Superior. It's just a hop skip, guys. Not the end of the world. Out to the audience out there. So how was that for you? Was Duluth really on board with Sawyer's Dream? Have you guys come up this way before?
Yeah, in different bands earlier in our lives, in our careers we have, but as Sawyer's Dream, this was our first time up there. Mm-hmm. We played at Victor's. We had a great time. Yeah, mm-hmm. It was a great show, really fun time. Mm-hmm. I had never been there, and it was like museum / strip mall / bars everywhere, restaurant, really unique experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was kind of fun for me. I went to college there, and our bass player went to college there too, so
okay.
It was kind of a flashback to the college days.
Oh, yep. Yeah, Homegrown just wrapped up here, and yeah, I went out for that, and I used to work in the Fitkers building, so every time I go in there, I feel this urge to, rat race myself to the brew house and get to work. But I don't have to anymore. I can leisurely stroll through the halls now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Monique just fought the traffic right now. She just got here. You're on the air, Monique. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi, Monique. Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
Good. I was just telling the guys I don't envy you for living in Minneapolis, and I do apologize for the insane traffic.
Oh, it's no problem. It happens.
Yeah, they closed 94 down in here, so that's between 35W and 94. You can pretty much only take side streets everywhere.
Yeah. Well, and now those side streets are just getting clogged with traffic, I bet.
Exactly.
Ooh, yuck. Yeah, so Monique, I just asked the guys how your experience was here in Duluth. They said that you played Fitkers. How did that go over?
Oh, it went really well. The energy was great. The crowd was great. Mm-hmm. It was a great time.
Good. Have you played Duluth before?
Never.
Really? All right. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. And Eric and Sky, it sounds like you guys kind of go way back with guitar and drums and other bands, it sounds like. Monique, how did you get involved into the mix?
Believe it or not, Craigslist.
Really?
I found this band on Craigslist
looking for furniture.
Yeah, I was looking for furniture.
Okay.
And I just happened to look under gigs because I sing, obviously, and they were looking for a background singer, and I called them up, and I came to audition.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And now, just to touch on Craigslist a little bit, I mean, you hear stories like that, but not very often are they, do I want to use the word legit?
Right.
Right. So was there ever kind of some wariness of this?
Of course.
Well, look at it this way. Her husband came with her to the audition.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's Craigslist. Of course, I was a little weary, and I've been in music for years, so sometimes things pan out, sometimes they don't. Mm-hmm. But I got the audition. My husband came along, and he came along for the next few rehearsals with the band as well, just to make sure everything was legit, and it was.
Mm-hmm. All right, excellent.
And on our end too, it's like Craigslist, and we had posters. We were going through friends, and we did Craigslist too. So we're always like wondering who's going to come in off Craigslist too. We had a lot of auditions where we're kind of like, hello.
Exactly.
We'll put it this way: we could fill the largest concert hall with all the people we auditioned for this week.
Really? Wow.
Yes, hundreds of people we auditioned. And
wow.
Monique was the one that stuck.
She was
amazing. The second we heard her.
All right, excellent. So how many years has that been?
1 year.
Yep, she celebrated our 1 year. Monique used to be our background singer, and now she's our lead vocalist.
All right.
Made the change, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I joined March 1st, 2017.
Mm-hmm. All right, excellent. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Wonderful. And now, when you guys, now a little earlier, you had mentioned kind of what your week looks like. It's day job, Monday it's record, Tuesday it's rehearse. Wednesday rehearse, Thursday record, Friday rehearse for Saturday. And then Sunday is radio interviews, of course.
Yep. This week every day has been Sawyer's Dream.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We just played O'Gara's Friday night. And
okay.
Thursday night we played at the 318.
Oh, wow. All right. Excellent. And now when you guys kind of get together to, let's say, rehearse or really nail down some songs, I mean, is that kind of everybody on board? Is that, come if you can? I mean, how does that kind of look as a format? I mean, do you come up with different sections and then hand it off to each other?
Well, it's just a lot of, it is formatted, but there's also a lot of, sometimes Monique might hear this part and she'll just go for it, and she'll hear this amazing run that I never imagined, and she'll just throw it in, and I'm like, I really like that. And she's like, I'm just warming up. But we keep it in the song. There's a lot of working out our band's primarily a harmony vocal, 4-part, Descant harmony vocal band.
Okay.
So we're really into that, we just do. There's a lot to it, like getting this type of sound to happen live.
We require everybody to show up. It's we're pretty serious. We want to make this happen, so it's not kind of like show up if you can. It's everybody be there. If you can't be there, let us know way ahead of time. We try to be disciplined. I think that's the only way to succeed is if everyone's just there working, So and then, like on Friday night, we just do the band without the singers. And so that we can tighten up behind the singers.
And then when we're not recording, which we're getting close to getting it done right now, our CD, when we're not recording, our Thursday night is designated vocal night to keep the vocals nice and, really tight. There's so much to it. I mean, we got 4-part vocal harmonies and this, rhythm section, and they're kind of two separate identities that come together.
Okay. So now when you're talking about kind of that 4-part vocal harmony, for those of us who don't quite understand band lingo or have never been in a band, harmonizing, somebody takes, a little bit lower part, somebody takes a little bit higher part, but you're all kind of in that same wave. And now you had mentioned that that's really what the band is centered around, is a 4-part kind of vocal harmony. Was that really what you guys wanted to go for? Was focus in on the vocals?
That was the whole idea from the beginning.
Okay.
And then when Monique joined, it was kind of like that on steroids. It was like really like, wow. It's like, okay, and then I'm like, okay, we have the power now. We got to get everybody up to that same power that she can sing. And that was the whole idea. I just wanted to put together a great Americana band. We just wanted to have this great vocal sound, because no one really does it anymore. The bands of the 60s and 70s, there's not many of them left, like the Mamas and the Papas, or Little River Band, or any of those other bands. There's not too many. It's kind of our thing. It's our signature thing is the vocals.
Our other two singers aren't here, Tina and Adrian, who are amazing.
They're very amazing vocalists.
Seeing it Sunday, everybody's got stuff going on.
Right.
It's kind of our day off. So.
Right. The day off to recoup. And
you can hear it on the song that we sent you, the harmonies.
Yes. We will listen to that in a little bit here. Yeah, that song was absolutely phenomenal. When you guys kind of sat down to write that song, I mean, did everybody get in a room and kind of throw stuff at a wall until it stuck? Did everybody kind of work together, bounce off each other?
In the end, it was everybody's contribution.
Okay.
And I'll have to mention, too, we have a great co-producer, Stephen Halvick, over at Drop Tone Studios. And a lot of stuff comes up right at that moment, too, when we're in the studio also. But, to be honest, like that song you have, I wrote over 25 years ago.
Okay.
And we're just doing it now. But, Monique put her flair on it. Eric, of course, put his flair on it. And things changed. I had a particular bass line that Buster was playing for a long time, and we were in the studio, and Stephen was like, "Oh, this is not gelling right," so I completely changed the bass line. It's kind of always an evolution with these songs.
Okay.
Getting them to sound right,
to sound the way that we feel that, like it's our sound, kind of that energy.
Right.
This guy's the main songwriter in this band, though, so it's his songs, and he'll kind of bring them in.
Okay.
And then the rest of the band works on the parts, and I'll write guitar parts to go around his chords, and Buster works on the bass part. And, we just kind of all work together to try to get it to sound right. So.
Right. And now, how many albums or singles do you guys have under your belt?
Well, we're working on our first record right now.
Yep, this is our first release.
Oh,
but
all
we have
right.
3 sets of original music that we play live, so we can do a lot of songs. So.
Okay, wonderful. Do you have a couple favorite covers that you guys do, or?
We're an all-original band. We've never done a cover.
Okay, all right, even better.
A couple of us are anti-cover band a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, all 3 of us right now. Well, Monique has that so much. Eric and I, we really you know, and where we're coming from that is Eric and I, we were really supporters of the original music scene.
Okay.
We were really supported. I mean, we're one of the very few bands in the Twin Cities that offer opportunities or pay other bands to open up for us. You know, it's just, there's not a lot of it. We're kind of the pioneers that are left now doing it, you know. And, you know, we'll rent out places and we'll hire bands to play with us. And all original bands put on original showcases, kind of keeping the original Minneapolis sound happening here.
Okay.
You know, we don't grudge other people doing covers if they want to do it. That's cool, but it's just not our bag. We kind of want to create something new that you know it's never been done before.
Okay. Yeah, I remember speaking to Teague Alexi, who is a musician up here. He's out from New Jersey, actually, and in one of his interviews, he had just mentioned to me that, you know, out in New Jersey, if you wanted to make money, you had to be a cover act. That was kind of the only thing that was really pushing at the time that he was out here before he made the trek to Minnesota. Do you find that that's still kind of true, that venues are kind of looking for, you know, some staple songs like, do I dare say, you know, Carry On My Wayward Son, or, you know, things like that? Is that still something that is a pull or a draw?
I'm sure it is, yeah, but if your band kicks ass and you work hard, you can play in the bars that cover bands are in, and people still like you.
That's what we're doing. You know, it all comes down to how hard your work ethic is. You know, if you're a lazy band and you're not proactive, you're never going to get anywhere. But you know, it's just like any other business. If you work hard, you're going to succeed. You know, and it's so funny because like a lot of bands, you know, they approach us to play shows with us, and they're like, "How did you get all these gigs?" And Eric and I are like, "Well, you know how we did it? About 40 hours a week, you know, working it. We worked very hard, very hard at it."
Definitely. Wise words. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. And now, Eric, how did you get interested in music? I'm just kind of going to go right down the line with this question here, because I kind of want to get into the background of where you came from musically and kind of how that shaped you to where you're at today.
I think when I was a kid, I needed something.
Okay.
And I kind of felt, my brother took me to a concert. His date backed out.
Oh no.
As a kid, and it was Jackson Browne, like way back when. At, the Civic Center or something, and I just fell in love with it, and I'm like, I'm going to learn how to play guitar. So my dad wouldn't buy me a guitar, so I got a job, and I was mowing lawns and stuff, and I saved my money and got a guitar and just kept working at it. And I don't know, when I was in 17, I was in my first band, and that band went on to get signed. And I just kept playing. So I took a little time off a while back, but I'm back at it again. So. All
right. Wonderful. And now, Sky, Eric was saying that you guys kind of go further back than Monique. But Sky, how did you get interested in the musical endeavor?
How I got interested in it, there was two things that really got me going. One was a neighbor friend of mine's brother. I remember in 6th grade, he had this old Silvertone guitar, and they were going to play at the graduation for 6th grade.
Okay.
They were awful, but they looked so cool, and they were gutsy enough to do it, and they were an all original thing. And they didn't make it happen, but I remember going over to his house and just hearing these sounds coming out of this guitar, and it was just an amazing, captivating thing to a young child. You know, it was really a neat thing. And as I got older, you know, it's like I wanted a way to express myself. I felt these certain feelings, and you know, I got bit bad by the bug of songwriting, and it was an addiction I couldn't let down. It's just I found myself just wanting to do it and really craving to have a band and stick with it. And my grandfather, my uncle was a choral conductor for the Minnesota Orchestra. Grandfather was also a arranger, so that kind of was always in my blood, you know. Okay,
all right. Excellent. Do you remember ever going to the orchestra and listening that way?
Oh, absolutely. Being intrigued by the string lines and the harmonies there, you know, the harmony lines. And are even, just hearing those early songs as a kid on the radio and going, wow, that's really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Really amazing how, how does that all get together? It was like magic to me, and I wanted to figure out how to make that happen.
Mm-hmm. All right. Very cool. Very cool. And Monique, how about you? How did you get into singing?
My mom actually had to tell me the story because it happened when I was so young. I don't remember, but
okay.
I was about 3 or 4. She heard me singing on the toilet, and she came in yelling at me because she thought I had a radio in there and I wasn't supposed to. And it was when she found out it was me, it was just like, what? And so right after that, she just stuck me in voice lessons, vocal coaching, choirs, everything you can think of, to just cultivate that talent that she saw in me. But I kind of ran from it. I had a really big voice at a really young age, so I kind of was just really shy, didn't want to utilize it the way everyone else wanted me to. So I started out really writing songs, and started playing the violin when I was about 8 years old, and did that for 15 years, singing still off and on, but I really didn't come into my own until I was about 18, 19 years old. Signed to a label, really didn't get too far with that, and decided to do things more independently. And just, music to me has always been just who I am, just like my lungs and my liver, like it's just part of who I am,
Yeah. And Monique, let's talk about being signed to a label for a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
How did that kind of come about? I mean, was it this, oh wow, they want me to sign, let's do this, let's see how far I can take it, or was there kind of some more pressure behind that? I mean,
it was more, during that time, the early 2000s, it was beneficial to be signed to a label. They did the work for you. They provided all the management and everything you did for you. So this was what I thought was my big break, quote unquote.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Oh, okay.
Go for it.
I just had a friend who knew someone who was affiliated with the label, and she introduced me to him, and I sang for him, and he became my manager. He brought me to the label, and they heard me, and they were like, yeah, we're all on board. I completed an album, and it got just kind of put on the shelf, and I kind of fought my way out of the contract with an attorney.
Oh, wow.
And once I was released from the contract, I just kind of started doing things independently, and I've been much more successful.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Excellent. Well, welcome to the independent world.
Thank you.
Yes. And actually, Monique, your story isn't that unique. I was talking to she's now known as Crystal Peterson. She was known as Crystal Harris in the early 2000s on the Disney Channel. She did the song Supergirl and was kind of all over the map with that and toured with the Backstreet Boys and things. And her story actually isn't that far off from yours. It was, they did all the legwork, and that's what she thought she wanted. They signed her on kind of young. And then from there, it just became mundane. It was the same songs, the same routine, the same interviews. You're going to go here this day. You're going to wear this. You're going to talk to this person. You're not allowed to talk about A, B, or C. And she came from a part that it was very controlled.
Very controlled. Very, very controlled. Very lonely.
Yeah.
And you don't get rich right away.
Okay.
When you have to pay all of these debts back that you didn't even know you accrued, it's definitely eye-opening. And I think sometimes when you're young, they kind of like it that way because you don't ask too many questions,
The music landscape's so different now that everything's online,
So different,
Yeah, the labels before, you had to have them because they did the distribution and they got your records out there, but more bands are independent now because the music's all sold online anyway. So
everything
themselves, and labels are more into the management aspect of things, but you have to decide whether you want that or not. So.
Okay. So I guess let's jump into not necessarily this yin and yang, but this. And not an argument by any means, but is there a benefit to having a manager and maybe a label behind you? I mean, is there more of a benefit in having that actual freedom of being an independent act and artist?
it's a total yin and yang, I think.
It is.
There are benefits for management, but, you know, you have to pay for that. And you might end up in debt for it. And you lose some creative freedom in some cases, where the label's telling you what you can play and what you can't do.
Oh, okay.
Open doors for you, that's for sure. But I mean, a lot of bands succeed without it. So
I guess it just depends on what you're looking for as an artist and the work you're willing to put in. Honestly, this band is probably the hardest working band I have ever been with. The most professional. Seriously, I have never seen people work this hard and be this successful with, you know, with the gigs we have. Every time I turn around, someone I know is like, "You guys are gigging again? Oh my God, again?" You know, and it's these two, really. It's these two men right here that are putting in the work, and so they're not only band members, but they are pretty much the band managers, you know, the marketing team and all of that. So
excellent.
We learned a lot from being in bands in the past. We kind of learned how to do it.
Yeah. And Monique, just to kind of close out that conversation, you had mentioned that you that acts that sign on accrue debt to their managers or their label, and that is actually very true. 30 Seconds to Mars, they tried to get out from their label a number of years ago now, and their label turned around and sued them. And then Jared Leto made this really wonderful documentary that really explains all what goes on behind the scenes that, you know, fans and other people don't see. And there is so much pressure, like, on these people to make that #1 single, to be at the top, to be, you know, the best that they can.
Absolutely.
And then, oh, here, we'll give you, you know, X amount, but you owe us double that back in what you make. And yeah, it's a vicious cycle almost.
It is. It really is. I am team independent. And if I had it to do again, I would have never signed, you know, any contracts. I would have just done it all on my own. I would have learned it and just done the work.
Yeah. And well, now, I mean, you can have an entire studio in your home. I mean, Pro Tools is readily available, and, you know, and you have garage bands, and, you know, I mean, I've bought microphones that are top-notch microphones that I never would have dreamed of owning myself. So it's a lot more accessible these days. And then also with the internet as well, and that explosion, music is a lot more accessible. Just creating it by yourself and making it work. But I guess, do you guys kind of find that the waters are a little bit more muddier now that there are tons of different acts out there and everybody's putting everything on the internet? And I mean, there are only so many cat memes you can look at in a day.
I always joke with bar owners. I always say, the gig is the carcass laying in the Serengeti, and the bands are the jackals and the vultures.
Absolutely.
Sitting around, they all want it. You know?
Absolutely.
So every gig, there's like 5,000 bands that want the gig, you know.
But if I can just say, I think we have kind of created our own lane. So I think what we're doing is not oversaturated in the industry. I think we have a sound that I personally haven't heard before. So I really do think that there's a spot for us.
Oh, definitely. Yes, I was listening to a few of your songs before we jumped on this interview, and yes, it's unique, it's different, it's got that Americana drive, but then it's got a little touch on the mamas and the papas in there too, and it definitely has a very unique sound. And Monique, I love your voice. It just brings this whole entire new depth to what the guys have going on behind you. And then you've got all these other harmonies on top of that with your other vocalists. So
they're amazing.
Yes, it's out there and it's beautiful and it's wonderful. So you guys are working on your first album. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, it's been a work in progress. When did we start playing the first tracks, Eric? About over a year ago.
About a year ago.
And, you know, we really took our time with it. You know, we really used the best guitars. Really wanted to really make something amazing, and then finally got to the point where, about 6 months ago, Monique, we're ready for vocals, you know, and we just kind of dove in and you know, just really wanted to make something special, and that's
it's a process. I mean, Sky and I are veterans in the studio, so some of the other guys haven't been in it as much, and so it just takes time to learn the ropes too when you get in there.
Okay.
Get everything nice and tight.
Yeah. So do you guys go into a professional studio? Do you have one at one of your houses?
Yep. We'll mention again our co-producer, our producer is Stephen Halvick. He runs Drop One Studios, and he is amazing. What an incredible talent! What a great guy! What a nice guy! And just can bring. I would strongly suggest any band out there, if you're wanting to record and want it to sound right, go to this guy. This is the guy. You know,
especially for vocal stuff.
Yeah, really he's amazing at vocals. He's the best.
Okay. All right. Excellent. We'll definitely have to check him out then.
For sure.
And so when you guys go into the studio, I mean, is a song, do you rehearse beforehand, lay it down, kind of get it out of the way, get it done so you can move on to the next one? Or is it really a process of, hey, we're going to lay down guitars one day, we'll lay down drums the next, Yeah,
well, how we recorded this particular CD, it was a real process.
Okay.
What we did is Eric and I and Buster and Ryan, we went in and we laid the foundation tracks. We just all played live together, like trying to get as much energy and feeling as we could.
Okay.
And all we were really going after was a drum track.
Yeah, that was just to get the drum so it felt live.
Okay.
We went back and redid all the guitars and redid the bass and individually, like one at a time. So.
Or sometimes two at a time.
Yeah, sometimes.
All right. And then you brought in the vocals later on?
Yep. Once the tracks were done, then we brought in Monique, and she sang until she couldn't sing anymore. It's pretty much the time she gets out of there, she's exhausted. It could be 30, 40, 50 tracks before we get what we want,
Wow. All right. Excellent. And now, when are you gonna drop the album? Can you say yet, or are you keeping that kind of a secret?
I think we're probably a couple months out, but it's so close. We're only down to 3 songs, and they getting the vocals down, and they've been able. Her and Tina were able to knock out about a song a night, isn't that right? About that, and maybe about 3 more sessions and a little bit more editing, and it's really close. It's really close. It could be done really soon.
Okay.
We're really busy though. We've got like 20 gigs coming up the next 2 months.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. Good for you guys. That's awesome to hear. Yes. And now, where are you hoping to take the record? Are you looking at doing a tour, a big tour, a mini tour? Just going to kind of put it out on the shelf and ride it out for a little bit? What's in the wings?
Eventually, yes, we would like to bring this band and tour. That's the ultimate goal. We're looking into some NACA shows for the college radio, and maybe put in a good word for us over there. If you can, that'd be nice.
Oh yeah, of course.
We play so many places. We're at almost every summer festival you can imagine, state-funded shows, and of course the nightclubs, everything from the KUWS, and we really do play a lot of places. That's one thing we're very proud of as a band. We're able to get so many shows. We've been so blessed with all these places re-inviting us back. It's been such a wonderful experience. And as far as the CD, I think a lot of them will sell there. We're also looking into different agencies to help us, promote and market our CD into movies. Eric, I'll just mention, recently had a song in a movie, in the Tommy Chong movie.
Called It's God.
Yeah, he had a song.
It's not much, though. It's in a bar scene. It's in the background.
Well, still.
Like, hey, that's my song in the background. You can barely hear it, but oh well.
But it got into a major movie,
Right.
I think the band, as far as we're trying to grow in concentric rings. If that's Minneapolis is our home, and like we're starting to go out and play like Duluth and Rochester, and Mankato, Wisconsin, and Eau Claire, places like that, and then hopefully go further out. The thing is, it's just so cost prohibitive. It's
right.
Hotels with a 7-piece band too. You have to have hotels, and you have to have. So the amount of money that you get for the show makes a big difference. We're mostly breaking even right now. We're using the money for recording and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But hopefully, we can just keep growing, and that's the idea. So.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. And now, guys, if somebody's interested in booking you or getting a hold of your music, how can they do that?
Well, they can go on Facebook and just message us if they want.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Go to Sawyer's Dream
or SawyersDream.com. Yeah, there's information there. So.
All right, excellent. Let's touch on the name for a hot second here. Sawyer's Dream. Who came up with that? And
I came up with the name, Sky. Yeah, I can tell you about that.
Okay.
I actually moved back from Seattle, Washington. I was in Seattle, Washington, living in the mountains for a couple of years.
Okay.
And somebody actually in the music industry suggested that I come back and start another band. And I was really aching to start another band. And the first run of this with completely different musicians, I was like, I got to think of a name. Mm-hmm. And I was in an antique store one day, and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn was laying on a table there, and I opened it up, and there was a chapter called Tom's Dream. And it was about, Tom going back to his, back to his family after he was on the island, and everybody he was missing. And I just thought, wow, this is interesting. So I took his last name, Adventures of Tom Sawyer, mm-hmm. and that chapter, and I made the name Sawyer's Dream.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
And I think like a lot of the songs, Sky's into nature. He's in kind of throwback to the good old times when we were kids and that mm-hmm. kind of stuff. So it fits what a lot of the music is. Mm-hmm. So it works well.
I want to bring everybody to that happier place. Mm-hmm. That's our whole thing, playing live. Try to capture that energy,
the mm-hmm. innocence of childhood, kind of thing.
Yes, and I can definitely hear that kind of coming through in the music as well.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Well, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to talk with us here on KUWS, and we hope to see you up north soon.
Thank you.
We love it.
All right. Excellent. Have a great summer, and let us know when the record drops.
Absolutely, for sure.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.